Good morning, YouTube. Finals are over. Thank goodness. That's a celebration, baby. So check it out. I love pens, as you guys know. And in all honesty, this video is going to make me feel a little uncomfortable. Because in this video, we are going to talk about some pros and cons to some different kinds of pens. Now, usually on YouTube, and this is my own experience, but whenever I see like a video on like different pen types, I usually see rollerball versus gel versus ballpoint versus fountain pen, and all of those are great for the record. But I feel like I don't see a whole lot of capped versus click versus twist. Like, what is that all about? Like I don't know what those are called, but I guess like the extendable pens, quote unquote. It's a kind of retractable pen where like you take the pen and you just kind of like pull it, and then it kind of and then the tip actually like extends out. Sorry about that background noise. I was just moving my keys out the way. Anyway, but I feel like I don't see a lot of that, and so I thought that I would kind of fill that void, and I thought that we would have a very painstaking video, but at the same time a very fun video and a very pleasant video, because while we will be talking about some of the cons to each one of these pen designs, as you can see on the paper, we're also going to be talking about some pros. And it was written in my beautiful scribble, and voila, so we're gonna go from right to left, and yeah, so basically, right, what we're doing is we're going through twist pens and click pens and capped pens, and we're going to be comparing them to each other, and we're also going to be talking about some pros and some cons to each one. And they're all very beautiful, they're all very wonderful, and I love them all dearly, but anyway, so nevertheless, I digress, and let's start with the capped pens. So this right here, this is a Parker IM Rollerball, et voila. And so we're going to be starting with this one, and we're going to be starting with some of the cons. So some cons to the capped pen. Unfortunately, it is the longest deployment method, right? So for instance, this here is what you call a snap cap, where you pull it off and then you put it on and it posts. Not all of them post though, which is unfortunate, right? But that is one deployment method. Here's another one. This isn't from any particular brand. A friend of my grandfather made this, and he gave it to my grandpa. Sorry about that shoddy camera work. But anyway, here it is right here. And this has what you would call a threaded cap, which is where you just take it, you screw it out, go like that, and boom. On the bright side, they post. And if they don't, then it's probably a malfunction. On the downside, they take forever to deploy. I am not kidding. It's kind of brutal. Yeah, and so anyway, whereas snap caps are a little bit quicker. But a con for that is if you have a snap cap, sorry, I just woke up. If you have a snap cap that starts to lose some of that friction, and on this Parker, I doubt that would happen. On a lot of pens, I doubt that would happen, right? But like if by chance you just have like a faulty pen, and if it kind of loses some of that friction, and if it just comes off, boom, goes into your pocket, would you look at that? Now you've written all over your pocket. Hopefully it was a good essay. Hopefully it gets you an A. Boom, that'd be cool. But nevertheless, that is a big con, which is unfortunate. And so, yeah, not the best for EDC. Now, honestly, there are some exceptions to this rule. There's the Fisher Space Pen Bullet. That is pretty phenomenal, and that's a snap cap, but it's so small and it's so compact, the keyword right there, that it is pretty good for EDC. So, if it's small, it might work, but usually, you wouldn't want to take this out or this out to your everyday job, or maybe you wouldn't even want to like take it out like camping or something, right? Like you'd either want to use a pen that's like a little bit cheap. No, sorry, that's a click pen. Whoops. You'd want to use a pen that's like a little bit cheaper with it, like this Pilot Precise V5 or something, or something a little more sturdy like that Fisher Space Pen Bullet I was just talking about. Anyway, but I don't mean to rip on it too hard. That's just kind of the design for it. Yeah, so the pressure caps can wear down. There can be accidental deployment. It's kind of difficult to deploy one-handed. You can still use it sorry. You can still use it one-handed. Man, my camera work is bad. Let me just move this all down here. That'll be better. But it's like trying to go like this, right? And then just like put the cap on. It's like you got to do that in order to do that. Now, I will show you a very fun trick. Key is take it by the cap. And then, boom, much easier. So in that way you can, but it's still a very long deployment. And with the threaded caps, you can still do that, but it's just going to take much longer. But anyway, okay, I'm going to move this out the way. Oh, pardon. So, longest deployment, not the best for EDC, difficult to use one-handed, accidental deployment, mostly. I think I wrote mostly because I was kind of just talking about like snap caps, and like the cheaper pens can like wear down and sometimes like accidentally deploy and stuff. And then the pressure caps can wear down. Now, one caveat. Keep in mind here that in terms of the capped pens, like I do have them, but it's more twist and clicky pens. So I just want to keep that in mind. And also there's also the extendable pen, and there's also the bolt action pen. To be honest, I didn't include them in this video because I knew that this video was going to be kind of long. And I just feel like bolt action pens and extendable pens aren't really they're not necessarily they're not necessarily mainstream yet. So that's why I didn't want to put them in the video, just because I was like, well, you know, they're not the most mainstream, and you know, I kind of want to speak to the masses a little bit on this one, right? So anyway, so those are some of the cons, right? But do keep in mind that this is still coming from like a kid who's not the most experienced with capped pens. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Like my forte are these guys right here, right? But you know, with that said, I still love them, and I still love collecting them and writing with them. And you know, I got plenty of videos and stuff of just various different capped pens. Be sure to check that out here on Descapens. But nevertheless, I digress, and just keep in mind that, you know, like despite the cons, like this is coming from a guy who like has the least experience with this pen right here. So anyway, now let's get into some of the pros. So in general, like I like to talk about the noise level of each one of these deployments, because sometimes when you're using pens, a lot of the time in fact, you're going to be in a much quieter setting. You know, you go into a library, you are at a lecture hall of some sort, you're in like a corporate board meeting, or just, you know, a meeting at work. I'm not sure yet. Anyway, you're in something like that, right? And if you're sitting there like clicking a pen like this, that could drive people a little bit crazy, right? Sorry, there's a little bit of lint on there. I don't know where that came from. Anyway, but this sucker right here, it's not too loud of a deployment. In general, it's pretty quiet, you know? So it's just like boom, boom, boom. And then on top of that, like fidgeting with a click pen like this, that can drive some people insane, right? Whereas this, you could theoretically just, well, okay, I guess that's a little bit loud. I need to find a better example of that. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay. So this is, voila, the big stick. Like this is nice and quiet. It's just like, oh dang it. It's like, just kind of sit there, fidget with it. See? Yeah, it's just like that, you know. It's nice and quiet. Like, sir, what about this? I know you don't hear this, sir. Okay, now there's a little bit of clicking, but that's just because this part right here became a little loose. But anyway, a great example of this actually. I don't have it near me right now, so you know what? Actually, no. Hang on. I'ma just go grab it. Sorry. Let's see. There it is. I hope that everyone's having a great day, by the way. I'm very happy as I just finished all my finals. Oh, the last final was great, actually. I think I honestly killed that sucker. It's written about a bunch of philosophy and whatnot. Anyway, this right here. you'll notice it's kind of quieter. Oh, geez. Say, you can just kind of do that, basically. You can fidget with it. And look, I myself am not a fidgeter, just so you guys know. But, you know, I have a lot of friends that are, you know, and so I kind of want to speak to those guys. It's like, yeah, you can still kind of fidget with it and you're going to be chilling. Anyway, so less likely to jam or get stuck in comparison to a click pen, yeah. In comparison to a twist pen, I think so. But twist pens are also pretty reliable, which is something that we will get into later. Pretty diverse ink types, which, by the way, that's a pro that I have for all of these designs. Now, obviously, as we know, it's like rollerball and gel, and I guess, yeah, fountain pen for sure. Like, they have very different ink colors. Ballpoints are a little more limited, but, like, because there are gel and rollerball and fountain and, yeah, because there are gel, rollerball, and fountain pens in all three of these kinds of pens, that means that, you know, you have a very wide ink variety. Ballpoints are a little more limited. At the same time, though, I'm not really much of an artist, so I don't really care that much. But anyway, other people might, and I just want to let you know. It's like there's different kinds of ink colors, different sort of inks and stuff. It's like, you know, across the board, it's great. With that said, though, actually, with twist pens, I don't know if there is, like, I don't know if there's a twist fountain pen. There might be, but there also might not be. And I could be wrong. Anyway, so yeah. Most professional looking. Now, what do I mean by this? So I think that the capped pen has actually evolved in a very interesting kind of way, right? So, and basically, it's all about posting. So for instance, this beautiful Parker IM, right? You take it, you go like this, and boom. And this sucker posts actually very, very well. You know, I don't have to worry about it flying off as I'm writing with it. It's not going to go woo, boom, boom, and just kind of hit the wall or something, or whack my buddy in the face. No. It's like, I know that this sucker is going to be okay. Not every capped pen is like that, though. But there are still some very expensive and nice capped pens that just don't post very well. So what's the solution? Well, I think a lot of people, you know, who work in corporate America or something, right? It's like they resort by just having it be a desk pen, a desk of pens. Oh, look at that, right? And so they're at their desk, it doesn't post. They know that, you know, they can't just carry it everywhere and write with it. You know, they pick up they pick up a Pilot G2, an SGL, whatever, and they carry that around. But then their fancy professional desk pen that they sign, like, you know, deals and whatever else with, it's like, this is it. This is the desk pen. This is the fancy thing that you pull out. And that's just something that, you know, that you see around a lot. Now, of course, there are some exceptions to this rule. For instance, the Studio Neat Mark 1. Now, I have a clip on it, but usually it's just like that. And so most people who have this pen probably leave it as a desk pen, or they live life on the edge and carry it around without the clip, which is honestly kind of cool. I respect that. You rebel. Anyway. But yeah, so in general, though, I think that the capped pens are the most professional looking for two reasons. On these, with the click and the twist pens, as much as I love them, it kind of suggests that you're on the go, you know? You're like, yo, I can't take my time. I need a quick deployment, right? I need to just twist this and get it done. I'll show you this. Boom, 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 boom. Sorry, I love doing that. Yeah. It's like, these are meant to be on the go, which there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually like a good thing for a lot of people, you know? Whereas with these capped pens, it's like you have them and you're like, yo, I need to write something. 1 minute. I'm moving slowly like a lion. Here it is. See that? It's like this right here suggests that you are in control. You will take your pen and uncap it and sign the document how you see fit. You are not at the whims of signing something real quick. No. It ain't like that, man. It ain't like that. I'm in control. This is my rollerball. It was 30 bucks on Office Depot. Da-da-da-da-da. What's up? It's like that right there is kind of that right there is why I believe it looks the most professional, personally. I might be wrong though, right? Some people might disagree, like obviously, Ballpoint Mont Blanc Majestic. That's probably a little more professional, but I digress. Now, a fountain pen Mont Blanc. I was going back to Mont Blanc, I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah. So those are some pros to it, right? It's like, it's the most professional looking. And then I also wrote the most durability. I was kind of thinking about, I guess it kind of goes back to the whole like less likely to jam or like get stuck or anything, right? And so what I mean by that is like, take for example this Fisher Space Pen. Like, its tip is protected the most right here in this cap. There's no like open hole where theoretically something could like get inside if it's dropped like directly down, which, look, that's obviously a tough thing to pull off, right? Accidentally, that's a very hard thing to do. But I'm just saying, it's like in terms of durability, like if you were to ask me to drop this versus drop this, I would want to drop this and be like, boom, over and done. Now this is still going to be fine, but because of the open hole, there's just like a higher risk, I guess, and so shout out to the bullet. Anyway, I will review this later. Anyway, okay. In fact, I will review my entire Space Pen collection because that would be a ton of fun. Anyway, so that is something that I think is really like helpful with the capped pens. Like, that for as long as the clip doesn't fly off, your pen's gonna be protected if you drop it, which is a pretty great thing, And the fact that the tip like won't get damaged, right? Like, imagine like you drop this and then this sucker bends, which I've seen people torture test like different pens, and if this part isn't strong enough, if it's not made out of some robust titanium or something, dude, your pen is hosed, and that's really sad. Now, of course, the flip side to that, right? So let's say you're writing with it, and I don't know, it flies out of your hand randomly, or you drop it or something. It's like, boom, like that tip is the most exposed compared to these two. Anyway, but I digress. So I'm gonna cover up the cons. We're just gonna look at the pros right here. So those are some pros. Another thing that I forgot to mention is that in terms of like price range, it's like there's this one that was $30. This Pilot Precise V5. It's pretty cheap and it's still very high quality. And oh, but plastic, but bro, metal clip. Oh, but tacky, but bro, Pilot. It's like, this still works, And this is still a very, very like fine pen, like on the cheaper end, sure. But guys, there's absolutely nothing wrong with, carrying around just a nice capped cheap pen. And again, it has the same perks. In fact, since it's plastic, it has more perks. I'm not afraid to throw this. I am afraid to throw this. But anyway, I digress. Okay, moving on, bro. And then of course the big crystal is the ultimate. You can torture that sucker. Okay, I should stop throwing the crystal and the pilots. I apologize to Pilot and Bic. I love your brands. I'm just joshing with you. Okay, now let's go into Click pens. So we're gonna start out with the cons, which is very, very sad. So a big con to a Click pen, I believe, is the loudest deployment. So again, going into going into the corporate meeting, the lecture hall, the whatever, right? It's like, if you want to fidget with this sucker, like going like this, like everybody heard that and then you got fired. Like, that's not fun. That's just not a fun thing, right? Like this pen right here, I have a lot of experience with it. This is the Pilot Acro 1000. This was the first pen that I ever reviewed, though the one that I reviewed was its brother, and it was in navy blue, and so I gave that one to a friend actually, and then I also had it in gray, and I gave that to my brother. I'm like, bro, take this, friend, take this, and so boom, now we have this, and the three of us are now the 3 Acro 1000 pen owner wielders, and so it's pretty cool. Anyway, a very, very cheap pen, but a big con to this Click pen, and to not just this one but a lot of them. Let's take for instance, hang on. Oh, 1 second. There we go. Let's take, for instance, the Partridge Otter. Very iconic pen. Crazy loud click. Not as loud as the Acro 1000. Fisher Space Pen, a little quieter, but you can still hear it, and that ain't fun. That ain't fun for a lot of people. Now let's go with, I reviewed this one earlier. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. The GS01, which that actually stands for Grand Standard 01. I didn't realize that during the video, but wait, hang on. I'll be honest, that one is a little quieter, but for some reason on the first deployment, it kind of felt hard to deploy. I think that's just because I was clicking it with a finger, so that made it more painful. Yeah, see that? It's way loud. And then on top of that, you might even get some rattle. With that said, though, I think this guy's rattle is charming, and I still love this one to death. My free pen, my orange pen, my needle pen. Beautiful. Love you, Odo. Okay. So anyway, but the point is, they can be really, really loud. And that's something that if you're not careful with it, if you're not tactical with it, that can drive people insane. They can get so ticked off. And look, I know, because honestly, I've been one of them. You know, when I'm just sitting there, I'm trying to do my homework in the library, and some dude has some Pilot or some Sharpie, and he's just going nuts. Now here's just, and you're just like, fam, chill. But at the same time, really fun for fidgeting, you know? And like, bro, if you're alone, if you're in the car, if you're doing whatever, ain't no problem clicking your pen. But if you're in the car, just make sure you're not driving. Anyway, moving on. And look, this pen honestly has so many pros too. So to anyone, to anyone who's bothered with how long I took on that first point, don't worry, baby. There's way better pro points coming up. Okay, don't worry. All right. So moving on to some of the cons. There are, wait, hang on. I need to find something. Oh, that's embarrassing. Oh. Okay, I can't find it. That is a-okay. All right, moving on to some of the cons. Oh, I found it. 1 second. Sorry. All right, guys, I'm back. My apologies. My apologies. I apologize. My apologies. Et voila. All right. I'm writing a practical comedy sketch. Okay, so moving on to some more of the cons. Accidental deployments. Now, what do I mean by that? And that's something that this one and this one aren't very common with, but there's a caveat with this one that I will talk about. So, boom. Check it out. I have my bandana to try and represent some kind of pant pocket. And this sucker, as you can see, is a high rider. So, let's say theoretically this is in your jean pocket and you're walking down the road and you drop a penny for whatever reason. And you're like, oh my gosh, that's my lucky penny. I need that thing. So you bend over to pick it up and your belly comes down. Oh no, you just deployed your pen. That's terrifying, bro, right? That right there is something that no pen enthusiast ever wants to have happen. Because when that accidental deployment happens, that ink comes in touch with your pocket and it just starts and it goes everywhere. And the horror that you see is unimaginable. Anyway, so yeah, so that's a huge con. Now, to be completely fair, there are some ways that our pen clicking friends have mitigated that. You have low riders. This Parker Jotter, for instance, you bend over, it's like, you know, it's low enough that it might not really deploy. Like, I have tried this. I myself am currently cutting a lot of weight, actually. But, you know, I've been on the bigger side of things before. And this pen right here, like, I know that if I bend over, like, ain't nothing gonna go on. With my beautiful Pilot Acro 1000, though, I'm not so sure, right? So that's why I always keep it in a coat pocket, keep it in my bag. Sometimes I'll take it and I'll put it in my jean pocket and I'll turn it upside down. And yeah, and so yeah, just to make sure that that it's a-okay. Yeah, so that is something bad that can happen. You have accidental deployments, which are no bueno, not fun, c'est pas bon, very miserable. Anyway, so that's probably like another huge con, like loudest deployment, accidental deployments. Eventually it will wear out, which is really sad too. I'll give you a great example. If you go back to my Sharpie S Gel video, is very popular, by the way, and I thank you all for the love and support that you showed me in that video, and also all the love and support that you showed of that pen, because, man, Sharpie is just a really great brand, and I absolutely love that ink. It's honestly some of the best gel ink on the market. Anyway, so if you go back to my Sharpie S Gel video, as you can see, this one is actually kind of new. You know, I haven't used this very much, but I have its brother, because these suckers come in a pack of 2, and this is the Sharpie S Gel and an all metal barrel. Really nice, really cheap, low rider as well. I'll actually show you guys that real quick. Here we go. Low rider as well, right? And it is pretty dang fire. Like, it's a great pen. You know, it's very classy looking. It doesn't draw too much attention, while at the same time making you feel like you just got a bomb.com right here. And it's true, you do. It's a great pen. Congratulations if you have one, for real. But one thing that I have noticed is this guy's click, at least the click on his brother's pen, has kind of worn down a little bit, which is really sad. You know, now this one is new, right? I don't have that S Gel. Wait, hang on. Yeah, I do. Sorry, guys. I'm all over the place today. I feel bad about this. I feel bad. Usually I have everything laid out. I know what I'm going to pull and I know when. But today I'm just kind of taking it easy. I'm just kind of taking it easy, and I'm just chilling with you all. And this is honestly just a really free-spirited video. You know, usually guys like Unsharpened and stuff, like, they know exactly what they're gonna say and stuff, and mad respect to that. But I just really love going freestyle with you guys. It's very fun for me. It lets me relax and just kind of hang out with y'all, and we just have a really fun time together, don't we? It's so great. Okay, wait a second. I'm getting up again. I know. Here we go. So here's his brother, and here it is, right? So this pen right here was my favorite pen for a super long time. Like, I've just loved this thing. And you'll notice the click is a little more worn down. I'm gonna make a song if I keep clicking them. But yeah, so unfortunately, one thing that I have learned from Click pens is eventually they do kind of wear down a little bit. Now, this being a Sharpie, the unit price is about, you know, $4 or something, right? Well, no. The unit price is more like $2, honestly. Oh, pardon. It's like, obviously, there are going to be some differences in quality, right? This Acro 1000 sitting right here, I predict to last a little bit longer than the Sharpie S Gel, and I think that's something that, you know, people should take into account. Even something like this Jetstream. Oh, what a satisfying click. This sucker right here is probably gonna last a long time. Like, I think so. And so hopefully it does, right? So definitely consider the quality of your Click pen. Like, obviously there are some that are so high-end and so great, and the springs are so strong that they will last you forever. They will last, you know, your friends forever. They will last your children forever. I think a great example of this is actually it is the Parker Jotter. Like, so I'm on Reddit, and I go into the pen Reddit all the time, and some of you guys are from there, so hello, how are you? And like, I see people talk about it, and they're like, man, let me tell you, dude, it's like, I got this American-made Parker Jotter from my grandpa. He's had it for like 70 years, and then he died, and boom, now it's mine. And oh my gosh, it's awesome, yeah. And then, you know, some people just comment, and they're like, dude, that sucker will last you another 70 years, man. And it's like, honestly, it probably will. Now, Jotters have only been around since the 60s, but I do hear that they have a really good track record, especially like the older, like, you know, American-made ones. With that said, though, like the ones made in France, I like to think that they'll last a long time. I certainly hope that they do. Anyway, so it'll wear out eventually. The least professional looking, I honestly say that because of price, because I think in general people understand that capped pens and twist pens are a little more expensive than our beautiful Click pens. There we go, Click pens. Wait, no. All right, cool. Yeah, we will just go with that. And so, like, I think because of that, like, clicked pens are kind of associated with cheapness and with, like, you know, it's kind of a budget pen. It's like, yeah, okay. Okay, bro. But at the same time, I, like, that's very subjective. And so, I mean, there are obviously some pens that are click that are just really good looking, really professional looking and stuff. And yeah, and so I don't want to dog on them too hard over that. Like, yeah, it's just in my experience, like with brands that I've seen with a lot of like luxury brands, like when I was filming this one right here, when I was in that pen shop, I noticed that, you know, it was a very fancy pen shop, and all of the pens that I had were twist or capped pens, you know, like all of them in there. Like, I don't know if I really saw any of the click pens, which is unfortunate. Because look, click pens still have so many great pros that we're about to get into that I'm really excited to get into, actually, you know. And, like, there's so many that are just so iconic, you know, the G2, the Zebra Sarasa, the Sharpie S-Gel even, right? The Fisher, well, okay, Space pens are more known for their bullets, honestly, but the Uniball Jetstream, right? And then, of course, this beautiful Pilot Acro 1000, right? And so, anyway, I am digressing a little bit, right? So, anyway, let's get back on track. So, yeah, least professional looking. But another con, and same thing with this one, is it has an open tip. And I've written that both places right here. And originally, I wrote have, because I was kind of talking in the plural. But then I was like, no, I should write has instead, because I'm kind of talking about these two. And then I guess by extension, everything else. But I don't know. I kind of want us to connect with these two right now. So boom, has an open tip. Why is that kind of tough? Well, story time. So I am sitting there, and I'm not knocking this pen, by the way. This is a great pen, but I made a mistake with it. I'm sitting there with this beautiful Retro 51 rollerball. So keep in mind, this is a water-based ink. This is a very wet writer. It's great, though. It's awesome, and I highly recommend it. Guys, seriously, check them out. And somebody told me what the 43 meant, and that was the year in which we kind of started to beat the Nazis and, I guess, beat Imperial Japan. At least over in Europe, we were winning, and so that's why that 43 is there. And to the guy who commented that down below in this guy's video, thank you. I really appreciate that. But anyway, so there I am sitting, and I am in my jeans. And, you know, I have this pen, and for some reason, I forget why exactly, but usually I clip this pen onto my jean pocket, and it's actually kind of easy to clip onto the jean pocket. Like, this sucker does not resist a lot. It's actually very nice. It's kind of got that sort of up clip a little bit, so it kind of just helps snag it and just pull it down, right? But for some reason, I just kind of felt like dropping it in there, and so I did. And then I looked down at my jeans, down in my right pocket, and there's a big black splotch of ink. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm like, what? What happened? And so I pull it out, and I notice that there's this little piece of lint from my jeans that when I dropped it in there, like this pen, I guess, kind of snagged it, and it ignited right here at the tip, and the ink just spread. And it spread from this like string of lint right into my jean pocket, hit a point, and boom, just blew it up with an ink bomb. And I was devastated. I was like, no, I love these jeans. No. The stain still hasn't come out, but I'm working on it. But, you know, all the same, it just says I'm a writer. And now those are my working jeans. So that's pretty fun. Anyway, so that happened, right? With capless pens, that can happen, which is why I said I would take this and put it in upside down, because yes, I guess the ink isn't gonna flow immediately, which is actually kind of a big pro of these pens. The ink is more downward, but you know, I kind of just wanna, I don't want to mess it up, right? Like, I want to, you know, kind of have it like this to make sure that, you know, no ink kind of like gets in there and hits, and, you know, maybe there's some upward piece of lint that hits, but like, then the ink would just flow downward. So anyway, kind of getting a little sidetracked, but that's why I tell that story. Now, of course, this is on a roller ball. A gel or a ballpoint could, you know, turn out differently, right? But anyway, So yeah, so that's my little story about that. On top of the open tip, as I was saying earlier, if that tip gets damaged, what can happen is that, you know, you try to deploy it and it just goes out like that and it refuses to deploy. So that's not fun. You know, if you drop it and if it just lands on that tip, it could really wreck your pen, and that's just no fun. So that's something that I'm not saying, oh, you have to write it off, but that's something just to be mindful about. You know, like if you do get a pen that has an open tip, nothing wrong with, you know, just kind of looking at it, making sure you understand what's up and stuff, and like, you know, making sure that that it's a pretty robust tip. Now obviously a lot of pen companies have countered that by having just really robust tips, and so again, like I'm not trying to be too hard on it, but I'm just saying that is something to keep in mind. Okay, let's move on to the pros. Okay, so we talked about the cons, which are terrible, and now we're going to go into the pros. So a big pro to this pen, probably the biggest pro, is it is in fact a quick deployment. And that, my friend, is awesome. It's like, oh, I need to write something. Booyah, booyah, we're ready to go. Da, 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 and that's super cool. Obviously, the quickest example of deployment on this one is the Fisher Space Pen. Boom, just like that. You click it like that, click it like that. Boom, I'm ready to go, sir. Da 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 da. I'm ready to go, professor. Da 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 da. Like you feel like a spy when you got the Cap-O-Matic in your hand, bro. It's so sick, American made, baby. Mwah, love this thing. Okay, cool. So, but on most other pens, you can like do this variation, kind of grip it here. You can go like that, go like that. You can go like that, go like that. It's like boom, boom, boom. It's totally ready to go. Like it has the quickest deployment, which is really nice. It's really helpful. It's really great. I absolutely love it. And then on top of that, it is great for everyday carry, my friends. You know, a great example, of course, is this Pilot Acro 1000. This Cap-O-Matic is great. All the other pens that I just showed you are really good too. Yeah, and so you can just carry them around. Another great example is the Zebra F701. That's a great one. I love carrying that thing. Oh my gosh, it's so fun. My dad hates the grip though, but that's okay. Anyway, but yeah, it's like click pens are honestly, I would probably say that they're the best for EDC, because like they're so like fast in terms of deployment. They're easy for anybody to understand. So for instance, if somebody needs a pen, here you go. They'll take it, they'll look at it, they'll admire it, and then they'll click it, and then they will write with it. And that's something that I think is pretty phenomenal, right? And so, yeah, so they are great for EDC. They're very, very convenient. High quality pens are not as expensive. So I kind of want to drop a bombshell on you. So, you know, I have the A-Team, which are my really expensive, really high quality kind of gem pens. We got a member here and a member there. I love them to death. They're really, really great, right? And then, you know, we have the fountain pens. We have another we have we have the hybrid ink playlists, which is pretty much just like the Zebra Blend, the Pilot Acro lineup, and the Uniball Jetstream lineup. And if you guys know anything else, be sure to let me know and I'll be sure to cover it. But anyway, yeah, so we have a lot of those, right? But we have another playlist called Great EDC Pens for under 10, Great EDC Pens for under $10, or just like great pens for under $10. And so I've gone through and I've made them. And as I was sitting here writing this, I was like, hang on a minute. I go back through that playlist, and all of these great pens under $10, they were all click pens, each and every one of them. You know, it's like we had the Sharpie S Gel, which was $10. Again, the Zebra F701, the Pilot Dr. Grip, like all of them were click pens, and they're under $10. And that's the thing. This kind of deployment is so like manifest in the pen community. It's so convenient. It's so what's the word? It's so mainstream, right? That there are so many cheap options for under $10. This sucker right here is about $10. You know, another one is the Zebra Sarasa Grand, like their nicest Sarasa is like $8.99, you know, or $9.99 or something, right? The point is very, very cheap, and yet extremely high quality. You know, and that's awesome. The Pilot G2 Limited, that's not under $10, but it's still another really high quality pen under $20. It's like, there's so much that you can do. There's so many great click pens that are so cheap. And I think that that's something that people should keep in mind, you know, like really, like that's something that's just like so cool. Now, obviously there are some click pens that are much more expensive, right? In general, like a Cap-O-Matic, a Fisher Space Pen Cap-O-Matic, the cheapest you'll go, I think, is about 25 bucks these days, which is tough. Well, no, I'm actually at Office Depot. They sell the black Cap-O-Matic for $23.99, but you get the picture. The point is, you know, it's gonna be a little more, right? And then I guess the Parker Jotter, it's still under 20 bucks, but as you know, unfortunately, as inflation grows, so will that price tag. You have the Studio Neat Mark 1, which is $130. Well, 85 to 130. And yeah, in general, those are more expensive too, right? But there's still so many great options that are under 10 bucks. And I mean, honestly, guys, like a great option, right, is something like this. It's something like this. It's this Jetstream. It's this Sharpie S Gel. It's this Pilot G2. It's this Jetstream. This is also fairly cheap. I think I got a pack of 12 for like 20 bucks. So you guys can, you know, kind of figure out the unit price on that. The point is, right, you look at these puppies and it's like, bro, these suckers are cheap. And yet they're so high quality and they'll last you forever. You know, it's like, sure, eventually they'll wear down, but it's like, bro, if you bought a pen for $2 and if it lasted you 10 years, that's just good thinking. Like Dave Ramsey would be proud of you. I'm just saying, you know, Dave Ramsey seeing all this pen collection is probably ashamed at me, to which I say, don't worry. I also am saving, bro. I love you, bro. You're the best. Okay, sorry. I don't mean to get all money on people. My bad. Let's move on. I'll never talk about that kind of stuff again. Okay, so the high quality are not as expensive, right? So that's pretty cool. You know, this sucker right here, it's like, it's really nice. It's like, yeah, this part is plastic, but this part is metal. And I tell you guys, like writing with it, oh, it's so, oh. This pen right here, this Pilot Acro 1000, aside from my Meisterstück right here, this Pilot Acro 1000 was probably one of my most written with pens over this entire semester, like seriously, because, you know, it's just the paper, the pen, they fit together so well. I loved it. I would choose this sucker over the Jetstream. The Jetstream's still great though, don't get me wrong, but for some reason, I really got a liking for this Acro lineup. Anyway, moving on. Diverse ink types, we've already gone over that. And then the final pro is that you can fidget with it, which is so true. You know, like, again, I'm not saying do that in like a private thing, but I'm just saying, man, you know, you're walking down the street, you're chilling, you want to make a song, wait. It's like, bro, you can do that, man. Like, it's fun, you know, you're alone in your room, bored, watching a show, you know, you just sit there, just... You know, there was a really funny scene from this one TV show called The Office, where like there are these characters, Pam and Jim, and they're kind of chill, and then there's another guy named Dwight who's fun, but you know, a little eclectic, we shall say. And they're trying to mess with him, right? And so they have these click pens, and I think they're actually Parker Jotters. Well, no, one of them's a Jetstream, and I think Jim had a Jotter. I'll go back, I'll rewatch it, and we'll talk about it. Anyway. But they're sitting there and they're pretending to know Morse code. And so they're just doing stuff like this, and Dwight's just freaking out because he also knows Morse code, and it's very, very fun. And so anyway, yeah, but you can fidget with it, you can do tricks with it, you can have all sorts of fun things like with the pen. I remember I had this one friend of mine, I was mad jealous. Well, no, actually at the time I wasn't really that mad jealous, but he found a Parker Jotter in this apartment that we were actually sent in to like clean out and stuff. And, you know, we're just kind of sitting there talking, and like he knew I was into pens, and you know, we were just chilling, and he has this Parker Jotter, and he just starts to do a really funny dance with it, and it basically kind of sounded like this. He's like, boom. It's like that probably just sounded crazy, man. I'm sorry. I got a lot of energy today, folks. But anyway, the point is you can fidget with it, and it's a ton of fun, right? So anyway, let's go on to twist pens. Oh, how beautiful. Okay, one side note. I looked it up. This is not like some graft thing. This is called the guilloche. The guilloche kind of finish on it. And I think that's really, really cool, you know. And so anyway, I just wanted to put that out there because I messed that up in my video on this beautiful Faber-Castell E-Motion ballpoint pen. And I just want to make sure it's going through and righting the wrongs. Okay, so cons to the twist pen, to the twist pen. Can't fidget if you like that. Or well, oh no, okay, yeah. It says can't fidget if you like that loudly. Now, what do I actually mean by that? I mean you can't fidget loudly with it, usually. So what does that mean, right? Well, let's say you love the sound of this. Basically, what I was saying right there is that you can't really do that the same way. Now, with this one, it's like, wait. Like, I can fidget one-handed, but it's just like a little harder to. Like, I can deploy one-handed really easily with this, which is fun, right? But for instance, let's take another pen that's a little bit quieter, right? It's like this. It's like, if you want to sit there and fidget quietly, you can certainly do that. And this nice cross pen. This cross pen review, by the way, is coming up. And this is actually a special pen because it's a Cross Calais ballpoint pen. And I think it was like one of my first ever like fancy pens I ever really got. Might have been a Cross Century. But anyway, it all started with Cross. Anyway, so we will get into that later, right? But this sucker right here, it's like, you know, you can fidget really quietly if you want, which can actually be super helpful. You do hear more of a click on this one, right? But sometimes, like, there have been times where I just really slow, really quiet, you know? The faster you go, the more noise you make, the quieter you go, the better noise you can make, right? And so here's a big so I call that a con for people who want to click their pens, right? But it is kind of a pro that we will get into later. Quiet fidgeting. Okay. So that is a con that we're kind of writing, but, you know, also a double-edged sword. So another thing about it, though, is that high quality are more expensive, and that, my friends, is a con. That's not too fun. Like, I have this one twist pen. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Where'd you go? I had this thing. Oh. How embarrassing. I cannot find it. I will never recover, okay? Oh wait, I found it. There it is. Wrong place. My bad, gang. So this right here, this was from a hotel that I got. And, you know, it's got that click, which, hey, if you like it, great. But, you know, you can kind of see it's more plasticky. It's kind of just got this silver sort of paint on it. No, the silver sort of paint. This gold sort of paint on it and stuff, right? And in general, it's just a little bit tackier if I'm just keeping it real, right? And so to get something a little more high quality, it's this puppy right here. But this puppy and this cross right here, and this Pilot Acro Drive right here, boop. It's like these puppies are all more expensive. Like this sucker was $74, and these two right here are in the $30 range. So I'm just saying, like, if you want a nice, quiet, kind of high quality pen, you know, just something super good looking, it's gonna cost you a little more than one might like. You know what I'm saying? Which is unfortunate, but that's just kind of part of life. But again, like, you know, you save up, you grab it, it's fulfilling, it's fun, it's great, and voila, you know. So anyway, the higher quality pens are a little more expensive. Okay, and then accidental deployments. So going back to the Retro 51, I love it. Again, I have heard, though, that some people say that this part, because it's so grippy, it can kind of snag on your pants, and then it can kind of just accidentally deploy like that. Now, in my experience, I've never had that happen, but some people have, and that is unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. Yeah. Anyway, but there have been some pen companies like Pilot who have a way of kind of mitigating that a little bit. So let's take this Acro Drive, and I will show you the same thing on the Faber-Castell in just a minute. this acro drive, you start to twist it, oh, and then, oh, you know, if you don't commit all the way, if you don't lock it out, then it will just fall back into itself, which I think is kind of cool. So there's a bit of a safety on this sucker, which is really, really helpful when it comes to, you know, like protecting the inside of your pocket. So, you know, let's say like, you know, you have the Pilot and you're walking around with it and whatnot, and then suddenly it starts to snag a little. Let's say, you know, you just kind of touch it every now and again to take the friction off, like, oh, you're in my pocket, I'm going to press down on you. It's like anything that's pressing on right here, it's like, oh, it's gone. And so, boom, it's safe and it's totally good. The Faber-Castell has a very similar thing. You'll see I'm trying to lock it out. It's not locking out. Oh, it's back. That actually is way more defined. It'll just snap back immediately. Now, this Faber-Castell right here, my experience with carrying it, I guess it kind of rests like that. So in general, wait, does it? No, I'm pretty sure it does. So in general, I don't have to worry about this thing kind of snagging and starting to kind of push on it right here or anything. It's like, but it is still a really nice safety feature to have. And honestly, this is a fun way to fidget too. Oh. Okay, sorry. Part of this video, you just hear a bunch of pen noises. Yeah, now, of course, there are some that don't do that. This sucker does not do that. It's like, it'll just kind of stay. This Cross Calais pen does not do that. The Retro 51 sadly does not do that. My Montblanc Meisterstück does not do that, but there are a lot of pens that do. You know, the Pilot Twist pens, in my experience, they do. I'll show you another great example. Where are we? Here we go. Here we go. And I'm going to make a review on this soon. This here is the Pilot Metropolitan Retro in like red. Does the same thing. It's just a lot quieter compared to the Faber-Castell. But anyway, fun fact, this guy takes the same refills as this guy, and they both take the same refills as Dr. Grip. I just wanted to put that out there. Anyway, moving on. So, coming back to it. So there are, accidental deployments has an open tip. Again, we've been over that, right? And then more difficult to use than a click pen one-handed. So to reiterate, to get past that zippering that I just did, it says here that it is more difficult to use than a click pen one-handed. I'll be honest on this one. At the time that I wrote that made sense. Since playing with the Faber-Castell, that's made less sense, I guess. But there are some pens, like for instance, if I'm trying to like deploy the Retro 51 just with my thumb, that's tough. Now, I can do it with my thumb and my index finger. That's completely fine. But like, for instance, with my wonderful Faber-Castell that I keep gloating on about, I can go like that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and it's totally good to go. But in general, when it comes to the deployment methods, I would say that the click pens are the easiest. They're the quickest, they're the most convenient, and yeah, and that's something that the Capt and the Twist pens just don't really have. Now, you know, you could, if you have a pretty even mount pen like this, you can make it pretty easy, but in general, right, it's just like, if you were to bet, I would probably say go for the click pen. If you're just looking for something that you can quickly just pick up and write with, it's like absolutely the click pen. Ideally, a Cap-O-Matic right here, if you have the money for it, that is. Anyway, coming back to it. So more difficult to use than a click pen one-handed. Can't fidget if you like that. Can't loudly fidget with it. High quality or more expensive. Accidental deployments has an open tip. Other than that, I can't really think of any other cons to this pen. If anyone else thinks of any cons or pros for any three of these kinds of pens, you just let me know. And like, that's something that maybe I'll go into the editing of this video and I'll put in, and I'll be like, you know, this user, this account said this, and you know, I think it's a good point because da-da-da-da-da. And so, yeah, and so that could be very, very fun. So one of the greatest pros to this pen though is the quiet deployment. Just like I was kind of showing earlier, right? It's like, I can pick it up nice and gentle, and you didn't hear a thing. Probably the champions to this, I think, is Cross, you know, because you just take it. Yeah. If Cross ever made a tactical twist pen, that'd be something else, I tell ya. Anyway, and then Pilot, of course. I don't hear anything from that either. Like, in just beautifully quiet pens. And that's something where, you know, if you're at your work or if you're doing something, it's like, and you want to be nice and kind of quiet about it, right? You don't want to kind of gloat and like, you don't want to show off, but you just want to be unpronounced and just kind of, you know, pull out your pen, start note taking, quietly deploy the tip. This puppy right here is the best one you got. I'm telling you that right now. You know, any kind of click pen is going to be so quiet and so convenient. And I speak in a lower volume to try and illustrate this point. But anyway, okay. So quietest deployment, great for EDC, much like the click pen retractable. Wait, what? Originally I said retractable, and then I was going to say retractable again to kind of make fun of myself, but then I just said retractable and got it right. So anyway, retractable pens in general are the best for EDC, you know, like just in general. It's one piece, you don't have to worry about a cap going anywhere, right? It's like you have your, you know, different kind of deployment method. You have the convenient click, or if you want to practice with, you know, like, I guess the overextending pen, I don't know what you would call that, or the bolt action pen or the twist pen, you certainly can, and you can master that stuff, right? For me, it's like this sucker is a really quick deployment, right? It's like, oh, let me, just like that and that, right? This sucker right here, super click. Yeah, super click too. Anyway, right, and so great for EDC, pretty quick deployment, very, very nice pen, very much love it. Of course, pretty diverse ink types, increased durability. And what I mean by that is I did some of the reading kind of like around the internet to sort of check things out. And I think what the consensus was in general, the twist pens are a little more reliable compared to the click pens. There we go. I think a reason why is because in general, twist pens are a little more high quality. You know, they're going to be a little more expensive. And because of that, they're just going to last like a lot longer. I'm not much of an engineer, so I don't fully grasp all the design cues and stuff, right? But yeah, like I would say that twist pens seem a little more kind of what's the word? A little more durable. Yeah, I'd say they have some increased durability there. But again, like this is just kind of what I've read on the internet, and this is my personal impressions. I could be getting something wrong. So if you disagree, let me know in the comments, and I will read those now. Check those out. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, increased durability. Oh, and then can have anti-deployment methods. All I was doing there is I was just kind of showing you guys this. That kind of thing, right? Which is super, super helpful, right? So anyway, so can have those anti-deployment methods, and then quiet fidgeting is a pro, actually. So, you know, if you like loud fidgeting, then your twist pen is a con. If you like quiet fidgeting, then your twist pen, that's a pro. So do with that what you will. You know, like I personally, I don't mind kind of fidgeting like this, you know? It's kind of fun, you know? I think fidgeting on this guy's pretty cool too, you know? You take him, you twist him. Oh, sorry. You kind of watch it go back in and stuff. It's like, that's pretty convenient. That's pretty helpful, right? And so anyway, so quiet fidgeting, and loud fidgeting, it kind of depends on what you like. It kind of depends how you feel about it, right? If you like the noise of a clicky pen, then go for that. If you prefer the nice silentness of a twist pen, go for that. And so yeah, yeah. So that's my video, you guys. In closing, I just want to say, oh, sorry, I just did a morning stretch. That was very unprofessional of me. Says the guy who's gotten up like 10 times during the video to go and get something that he forgot to leave on his desk. But anyway, I just want to say in closing that these are beautiful pens. You know, not just these three, but I just mean the pens in general. All the ones I've showed in this video, all the ones I've had, all the ones that you have, the ones I don't even have, right? And really, I'm hoping that you guys kind of overlook the cons to each one of these designs and just remember the pros. And if you have a twist pen, if you have a click pen, if you have a cat pen, just enjoy them, man. Just enjoy them. Like, for real. Pen collecting, pens, even if it's just one pen or like whatever, it's like, bro, it's so fun. The world of pens are great, for real. And I got like, I think I have like 96 subscribers now. Guys, thank you so much. Like, that's so kind of you guys, for real. And this is going to be my longest video. We just hit an hour, but yeah. But seriously, thank you guys so much for that. Like, that's super, super cool. That's very, very fun. And in general, like, you know, this has just been like a really fun experience for me, just kind of showing you guys various pens, and, you know, we all kind of talk about it. And yeah, no, it's been super cool. And so, look, in closing, are there some cons to each one? Yeah, but honestly, I still feel like in each and every model, the pros outweigh the cons. You know, they're still just great pens, like, seriously. And so I hope that you guys enjoy it. I hope that you guys like it. And yeah. So anyway, all y'all have a wonderful day. This is your boy Deska Pens signing off. Love y'all.